We are live. Okay. I should have put Startup Stand-Up with Faceless Labs and put all that other relevant, good information in there, but turns out I'm an idiot. So I'm not doing that.
The old duck shirt.
Okay, I'm going to turn off Discord. Can you hear me, Alex?
Yeah, I got you.
And then if I go to YouTube, shows a live video. Nice. YouTube. Cool. All right, we're out here. All right. So we were just getting into what we're doing for the day, and then we were talking about Corrupted.
Yeah, so I kind of broke the ice with the holders yesterday. Just kind of wanted to start describing, like where we're at and where we could go. And I think one of the things you and I talked about was we have a couple different options for like what the vibe of the game could be. Like there's the card style, kind of like a digital tabletop.
Yeah.
And then there's also, like a team deployable, kind of like Clash Royale, which would be a little bit, they're very similar. It'd be the difference between dropping like a live character versus dropping a card.
Yeah, very different, I'd say.
For sure. Well, I mean, the strategy for like method of play where like I'm deliberately like entering this into the fray right now.
Okay.
That's the key thing I want to change about how the game works right now is players have to preset everything and then just click button and then just hope. And, it's over very quickly and they don't have any influence beyond setting the team. So we want to stretch that out and allow them to influence the things that happen. Because you look at the detailed logs, there's like 40 things that happen in each fight. And I want them to be able to affect more of that, which has an upside and a downside. The downside is that you need to have both people live at their screen to do it at the same time. Otherwise, well, actually, you know what? Now that I said that out loud, maybe not. Maybe that could be an integration. That'd be a weird one to have it like kind of just thinking out loud here. But so we have the team staking. You can AFK fight, you preset everything. So you could technically preset stuff and then just know that you would be farming fights for XP win or loss, but you wouldn't get to make all of the decisions. That would be kind of like an AI element, was that the game could make the decisions for you, like an autoplay, which does exist in kind of like idle RPG as a genre. That could be kind of interesting. The card one is definitely easier to like design, right? Because really all you need is a tabletop and then put things on cards and animate the card. So like you're looking at your team.
Yeah. How do people make these successful games anyways? Are they just like developers that create something and then they find out, hey, people like this, and so they keep going and then they eventually get these big ass studios?
So it's funny you asked that because I was just starting to look into that exact thing because of this one indie game studio that made Bot World. Is it Featherweight Games, I think?
Yeah.
And it's exactly that. They were just these two guys who came up with a cool concept for a game based on the chain scene. You've seen Gladiator, obviously. Mm-hmm. The scene where Maximus and what's his face are chained together and they have to fight tethered. And so it was two like independent people fighting, but they were tethered and they faced an onslaught of enemies. And it seemed kind of waveform. Anyway, it was pretty cool. They called it rudimentary. I thought it looked sweet. But that was like their first thing. And, you know, then they just kind of, I think my understanding from watching their intro video is just that they were quintessential nerds. They're like sitting on a couch dressed in crappy like Party City
Where
US
did they have like a blog or something like that?
on their website.
Oh, wow.
About for their game studio website. But they're like sitting on the couch dressed in like Party City USA gladiator costumes. So like just cheap, flimsy gladiator armor.
Yeah.
Really funny. And they're just describing like how they got started.
Huh.
But so they made that game. I think they just posted it. It started to make something and they hired another guy. And there's a very small group, but you know, now they're doing that. And they have those, like, I think they have 4 apps. I was telling you, there's one that is big in China. Everything about it is branded Chinese. That all the information I could find about it was in Chinese. I believe it's literally like for China. And they have Bot World, which is in second place.
I'm just thinking, like, how do we? Because it seems like everything that we want to do. That was the great thing about the NFT world, is that, you know, you can basically start up for free because you just give everyone, you know, percentages of the mint and you go there. We still could do that with NFTs, but with anything else that you have to build, you have to front load the money, which is kind of how it's done in the traditional world. But that makes it tough, because what if people don't like the game? What if people don't like the idea? Then you just wasted all that fucking money. And I don't know how much it's going to cost. But yeah. I'm thinking, like, because if we have Corrupted, and Corrupted is a strategy game at its core, we could keep the card style element of it. At least maybe for the MVP, because that probably wouldn't be too hard to animate. And we already basically have the math in there, right?
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, if we take where we're at right now, any graphical addition is progress, right? So if we leaned into the card style first, I personally believe that card style could evolve into not card style. By that I mean, have you ever seen or played Magic Arena? I'm assuming not, but no. So back in the day, it still exists and the OGs play it, but back in the day there was a Magic Online, and it was literally just, it looked like the graphics were akin to like Solitaire or Hearts, just on your desktop.
Right.
Just click, drag. You could see your hand and you had a deck, so you click on it to draw a card, do this, do that, whatever. The rules of the game were coded in, so you couldn't break the rules, but it was just drag cards out. No animation, no frills, no nothing. Then they added Magic Arena, which was like a very stylized, enhanced version of the same thing. So like, yes, I'm looking at a hand of cards, but if I click land and it's an island, you know, it kind of splashes down with a little bit of graphic. If I play a mountain, you know, like a craggy boulder kind of falls onto the thing. The cards all have, like, you know, smoke and fire abilities, whatever. So it was like very enhanced, but you're still playing cards.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that.
Here's a better question. Do people like that?
Wildly popular. Yeah, I can look up some figures, actually.
Okay. An even better question. Would today's market like a new player on the scene in that style? Because Magic the Gathering is OG. Hi, Evan. Does he need to be let in? What is he? Are you trapped? Oh my God. Finally. I saw him back there. Just getting ready.
No, listen, man. I told you, you missed it in the chat. I thought we weren't meeting today because it's a meeting day. And I think I have it backwards, that we meet on meeting days, but not after meeting days.
We won't meet tomorrow.
Yeah.
Our stand-up meeting schedule is the bane of my existence. I love you guys. And I packed up my setup because we're moving Airbnbs today. And I said to Kim, I said, oh, we don't have a meeting tomorrow. I can pack it up tonight and we can get a head start. So I'm on the fly. I'm on the run. I'm about to walk a dog. But I wanted to hear about the conference, and I heard about the Corrupted. And I wanted to add, you know who else has a game just like that was wildly popular with users and not just nerds like us? Is Pokemon. Pokemon's trading card game, even today, had a very, and in fact, I've seen others use the same kind of template, super simple interface that has like a static background, and that's a skin you can upgrade. Simple animations, you know, it's
I mean, I
People
get
love
it. I'm not saying that they weren't popular.
And it's
because-
big business, man. I see people spend, you know, hundreds of dollars on just the digital stuff, the stuff that doesn't even leave the game, the computer game.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying that these are outlier cases, and it's tough to compare us because what I'm considering is the average, you know, 7 to 18-year-old. I guess it depends on who we're going for. We have probably a lot of adults playing Corrupted, so maybe that's a different demographic. But if we do expand, it'll go beyond our kind of core.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people today don't really have a very long attention span.
This is kind of what we've talked about, though. We don't need to make the game in such a way that you have 500 million players. If the players that do play it really, really enjoy it, and there's enough of them to make it worthwhile to maintain and everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and the game is not the top of our funnel. The game is the bottom of our funnel. So people with a short attention span aren't going to be invited to, you know, sit for an hour and play a game. They're going to see a really engaging piece of content. And we need the game because right now that engaging piece of content goes to give us $40 and try the game today. And this can go to instead for free. You can play right now and look how cool it is.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're missing that will get those short attention span people into playing our game. There's such a hurdle for them right now.
If you get raw about like this genre of game, there's a couple things that I've noticed from just, this is anecdotal, but gamers who play tabletop and play stuff in card shops and play board games and whatever, which by the way is also a very passionate group of players, they're way more likely to try other things in my experience than like video gamers who are really dialed into something, right? Like Warzone players play Warzone, Destiny players play Destiny, but tabletop players typically will mess with all kinds of stuff, maybe with the exception of like the Warhammer guys that have taken out a second mortgage on pieces. You have Magic players in that too, and Magic Arena has almost 500,000 daily users still at this point, and I've always felt like they were really kind of battling themselves with Magic Arena just because they do not have a very good method to get your real life cards into the game. It's actually mostly impossible. You can like get a code to unlock booster packs if you buy IRL packs and decks and stuff, but there's no method for me to take like my thousands of dollars worth of cards and import them in any way into that. And so for that reason, they keep a lot of very committed and dedicated Magic players out because I'm not spending money twice. I'm not going to play with the free bullshit that I get in there and like risk it by just rolling the free packs to get some stuff that I can be competitive with. And I'm also not going to spend all my money again to get digital versions of the cards that I can only use in Magic Arena and I can't take anywhere out. So I humbly think that NFTs would solve Magic Arena for everybody, but Magic players don't want to hear it right now.
I know they're a bunch of little bitches.
We are.
We are. Solidarity with the bitches.
Dude, Magic is the greatest game I've ever played. I play it every single weekend. I love it more than anything. But Victoria gets it. I mean, yeah, I have. You know, that's all of that.
There needs to be some kind of that white box.
Those are all sorted and itemized by card type, set, color, mana cost, rarity.
Oh my god!
All of this. These are all like set specific. And then in here, I have, dude, I'll just show you because this is.
Dude, you are like the physical manifestation of that TikTok that shows the girls that are like, how do I know my boyfriend won't cheat on me? That's you.
That's me.
Yep. Christina, you are so safe.
Christina says every time she sees that video.
Look at this, dude.
So these are exclusive.
No way you've had sex, dude. There's no way.
I did it once. It was all right. This is better.
I've had sex, but have you collected and categorized all of your Magic cards?
But I can do it better. every single one of these is a legendary creature. So this is the commander binder sorted by color. And then since there's multicolored, I have them separated by a tribe once you get into there. So there's Gruul, there's all of the Orzhov, all that other stuff. They all have names. Then there's these. These are all my alternate art cards. So these are all cards that I also have in other iterations that I got just alternate art.
Dude, I have so many questions.
This is an entire commander deck, but exclusively done in this special kind of foiling called Surge Foil, which I got all custom. That was pretty cool. That's like a $400 thing. Those are all legacy vintage. But then beyond that, that's just legendaries. Cards that are put together and playable. So every single one of the pods in here is a fully built out commander deck. And I have 3 of these.
You don't play with the legendaries? Is that a faux pas?
No, you do, but you can only have your in commander. Your commander is the legendary card, so all of those are cards that could have their own deck built around them. But I go in and out.
Yeah, and Tristan, did you see it? Yeah. Also, Alex probably plays with gloves on.
I'm about to get you set me up for that on purpose. There's research to suggest that playing with cards with gloves on can be more damaging than just clean dry hands.
Oh my god.
So,
and real quick, Tori wants to know, do you have this catalog digitally like in an Excel sheet? Because she keeps almost starting one, but thinks, no, that's too far.
I'm going to out myself again. Yes, I have every single one of my built decks is also uploaded to Architect, which shout out. They have like this cataloging system where you can build your decks digitally with yours, and it tracks like price fluctuations in cards, mana curve. You can play test, do random test draws, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, all my commander decks are digital as well.
Well, you got me sideways for a second, but I say this is a great use case for if we can even build a really super simple, free, which also accompanies, like if there's a physical digital with NFTs that you can walk into a magic shop or any other, card shop and show people. I don't know. I just think that would be such a selling point because that's a real problem. Not one
Max
that's
stuff about me that he didn't know.
No, I mean, I knew you were a virgin. I didn't know how much of a virgin you were, but it's okay. No, I was just thinking like, I was thinking about what your dad must think of you, honestly, and then and then I was asking like, it's interesting. It's actually good because you've spent so many countless hours. I mean, obviously, we've spent a lot of time going over the corrupted and crafting it to what it is. You know what I mean? And that half of that wouldn't be there had you not, spent so many hours on games like this. It's just funny that like, if you do what you love, eventually, you'll find a way to hopefully make it work. So,
I think.
Anyways, to bring it back, I mean that's just hilarious. That's great. That makes sense that you're so into corrupted. But I guess the biggest question is like, what's the next step? Because I was talking about this at the conference yesterday at the ICP conference. We're getting a little too big for Discord, and
we are too big. It's a problem now. The auto fight bot crashes every couple days because of the amount of data that it has to pull every single time it fires off, and that's even right now with daily players down a lot from last season.
So what could we do to quickly move? Because I don't know, the ICP people are telling me that they basically want us.
Give us some fucking money and we can move right now. I'm ready. Here's the problem. And obviously, Mac, you know this, but
so is scale, by the way.
Okay, scale great. I love it when the girls fight over us. I think the move would be to do a completely separate from the NFTs first prototype, similar to how we did.
Yeah, it's going to be too much to bring in the NFTs at first, I think.
But the cool part is that because Willem is a genius, we are so set up right now to do the migration and the account import when we do. And we can not only bring their NFTs over, but all of their game data and their history. So they can get credit for that in the new thing, because the whole thing is linked to their Discord ID and then verified by a wallet connection. So
yeah.
So the cool thing that we can do is basically build a separate standalone thing that has no Web3 integration whatsoever. Make it so that you can, similar to how when you go to any website, it's like, would you like to sign in with Facebook? Would you like to sign in with Google? Sign in with whatever? We'll just have a sign in with Discord, and then boom, your profile is there with all your stuff and everything that is registered to you. And all of a sudden it's Web3 integrated, but in a managed account, your Discord account. And
wow.
Then,
so we're kind of like triangulating it then.
Yeah. And the two can talk to each other. So if we wanted to keep the Discord game version up so that people can play in Discord still, we could maybe change it so it's not quite as intense and move most of the heavy lifting out.
Yeah.
Their progress that they would make in the outside game would translate into the Discord one, because the two would be compatible with each other and they would talk to each other because it's all connected to the same account. So I would really love to start with just like,
but it would be web-based or mobile-based.
Willem's idea was mobile first.
I like mobile better.
I also like mobile
for
better.
Everything.
Yeah. Plus, we can do a lot more stuff in the app that would be a lot easier. And it sounded like Willem had a pretty good handle on it. The problem is it's really hard to like ask Willem to just, Willem's put in, I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds of hours, and he's never asked for anything. But I definitely feel self-conscious about like, asking for all of this, because he's indicated he'll do it all just because,
Yeah, I know. We need to.
But I mean, dude, if chains are interested, like we have game mechanics, we have players who are hungry to start playing this in a better way. Yeah. Because right now the UX is trash, and we have assets and we have lore and we have all this stuff. It basically just needs to be packaged better, because right now it's just raw and you're looking at all the math. It's in your face and it's aggressive. And Bill is the only person who enjoys looking at math like that.
I wonder how much a different blockchain would even surface were we to migrate. Because it wouldn't necessarily be. I mean, I guess we're also migrating systems too. We're getting away from the Discord system, but then using that as just a callback.
The beautiful part about the way that Corrupted is built is that we can launch Corrupted NFTs on any blockchain, and it's an integration. It's not like a massive thing, right? Because
Discord.
Yeah, because we basically just catalog metadata in a database, and then we call it for the game. And in that database, it just has the correlation between whatever the metadata trait is and whatever we've said that trait does. So you could launch a collection of NFTs on every single blockchain, and then you could put all of those NFTs into the same team and account, and you would never even need to know that they were on different chains. You would have no clue. You would never need to pay gas, because it's the game mechanic itself is off chain. The thing that's stored on chain is the thing that should be stored on chain, which is your accomplishments and your assets. Everything else is off.
Okay, if we do go to a different blockchain like ICP or Scale, they're going to say, what's in it for me?
The fact that you're getting users, because those users would still need to get tokens which live on your chain. They just wouldn't necessarily it wouldn't be in their face.
What tokens?
The game pieces.
The NFTs from Elrond?
Well, no, those can stay there, but there's only 4,000 of them. If we're going to scale this thing, we need more. So
fuck.
Enter the idea of like having booster packs of 8 cards in it that you sell for $3 a piece, just like a standard IRL booster pack, that are all SFTs that live on whatever chain wants to grant us. And you could create 250,000 of those, 100,000 of them, whatever.
Yeah, I know we talked about that.
People who are existing Corrupted holders, for the record, just because I know we have some of you guys watching, you can unlock all kinds of like free boosters, unlock a booster from each new set, earn boosters through XP, all that kind of stuff. to integrate off of, like, why would you want one of the original 4032? And that could just kind of be like the generation point for XP, which can turn into a fully comprehensive in-game currency into, whatever. And because XP is off-chain, you can spend it on stuff on any blockchain that you want. And it's all just an API call away, which is fucking amazing.
Isn't the system that's cataloging that all? I guess that's not. It's just the system that rewards it that's in Discord.
Yeah, but again, Discord is just calling a function from Willem's server and database, so we can call that from anywhere.
True. If we did ICP, though, we would need some sort of connect over there, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if they wanted to host, because I know we kind of talked to Daniel about this a little bit, if they wanted to, like, I'm totally happy with the new tokens over there, because gasless claim is awesome. All that kind of stuff is great. And I mean, I would be totally happy to have the branding there. I don't think anyone would be upset about knowing that they're there. It's just the new player could onboard and they would be able to just make an account, but not have to deal with like wallet creation. We can create a wallet like in app for them. And then just like PoApp works, they could just make their own later and send their stuff out if they want to, or they can just leave it in the native account forever if they don't care. Kind of like you earn SFTs while you play for getting new characters, unlocking new booster packs, getting new power-ups, all that kind of stuff. And then they can just live there forever. Or if you decide, you know what, I'm going to pull my stuff out and go somewhere else with it or sell it or do whatever, then it's waiting right there for you to just transfer it. But you wouldn't need any gas to get started. You could start literally for free.
Right. I know. I like that. It's very accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ICP community is there's a lot of similarity between those people and the people that I met at Elrond.
Yeah. In my humble opinion, this is not worth anything more than my own opinion is worth, but I feel like the chain that's going to make it is just going to realize like what their, we say this all the time, what their problem actually is. And from what I've heard, and I would like to hear more, it seems like the ICP thing is kind of like, let's not put it so much in your face that you're doing stuff on a blockchain. Let's just let you do cool stuff.
Yeah.
Which I do resonate with.
Yeah. All right. So then that would mean that we would need to fill out the application.
Yeah.
And then just list Willem as our dev. But we still need some sort of mobile component. I guess if we get paid for it, then maybe we can have Kaio help us out with it.
Based on what Willem was telling me too, I think that he would be capable of putting it together like platform-wise so that you could look at something really quickly and just not having like the full integration account import stuff ready, immediately. Because one of the other things we were talking about, even before we were like, okay, the game has to get out of Discord ASAP, was the mobile app could be a companion. Instead of having to do all this stuff in Discord, you could fight in Discord, but all the team setting, all the leaderboard checking, all that kind of stuff, we could pull out and have that be on like a mobile companion app that you could just have open. And you can set all your teams in there. Then we wouldn't be limited by the 25 limit drop-down menu restriction that Discord gives us.
Yeah, that'd be great. But I don't want to. I want to leave Discord behind. Discord is it's not made for full games. You know what I mean? It was made for gamers to communicate while they're in the real games.
I'm just talking about like the halfway step. We can pull it gradually so that we could have better KPIs for a grantor to look at and be like, okay, yeah, I can, track what we're doing.
I will say the one advantage though of Discord is that it makes it social.
Yeah.
But I guess we could probably put that feed into the app as well, right?
Yeah, you could have a chat feed.
And have those little like, losing isn't everything or winning isn't everything, those little.
I would love to be able to send taunts to your opponent, especially if the fight is a little longer and more interactive and you can click a couple things like during it, there's like little things just for the record, just because I don't know if I've really talked about this publicly. I know we have some corrupted holders watching, but right now, like insta-kill, you don't have a choice. Like you roll the die every time, but it would be pretty cool if you got the choice. Like, hey, you have insta-kill. Do you want to send it? And if you roll the die and you hit it, great, your insta kill fires. But if you roll it and you don't hit it, maybe you can't. Maybe now insta kill is on cooldown for 2 more fights, and you can't roll it again until the next one. So it kind of makes it a little more like I have to make a decision here.
Well, we've talked about doing turn-based as well for a long time.
Picking a play style too, like an easy thing we could do. We could even do this in Discord, but we're holding off just because of the mobile integration or migration. But like, okay, fight's about to start. Are you trying to be aggressive, mid-range, or defensive in this fight? And that would apply some sort of boost, buff, debuff, whatever to your opponent, to your team, kind of like how the allies work right now. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Chris is talking about animations, and I was just going to bring that up as well. So then art-wise, we would need to get something else. We would either need to get, because the way we made those corrupted was by training AI models. By the way, whoever's listening, we did AI way before it was cool.
And way differently. It wasn't like a mid-journey render.
Yeah, it wasn't like mid-journey shits. We took a lot of images, we took TFMs, we took a lot of different stuff, and then combined it all to make what you now know and love as the corrupted. So to do that more, to do 100,000 more of those, so to speak, I don't know how we would do that. We might need to go to
Well, there's a couple ideas. I've played with the idea of simplifying the character, because one thing that we have right now is zero correlation between the picture of the character and any of their abilities. There is no way to look at it and know what abilities or powers it has. And it would be way better if a character drops on the field or a card is played and you don't have to also read a paragraph to know like what it's about to do. You just know from looking at the card, like, okay, I know that this one is aggressive. I know that this one is a defensive unit. I know that this one has insta-kill on it or whatever. And so I have like 80 renders just from Midjourney right now of doing blends between corrupted and minis, corrupted and TFMs, corrupted and other corrupted. And then Jahan also took his same diffusion model that he trained to create the original corrupted, and he had it do animations in their style with the influence of each of the special abilities. So those kinds of animations could be put in and could play, like if if teleport were to fire off, or any of the other special abilities.
The original reason that we created the traits the way they were is because we wanted it to be a kind of timed reveal and not based on what it looked like. So we wanted that kind of like excitement of like, okay, I got this NFT. Is it rare or not? I don't know. Do we not want to preserve that same kind of unknown?
I like that for specific things, but I think when it comes down to like playing a card or a character or whatever that is just more seamless and immersive in the game experience. You know what? Okay.
Because that's how it's traditionally done. You're talking about the traditional way of doing it, which is fine. But I'm just asking, do we want to stay weird?
I definitely want to stay weird. I've always thought it would be really cool if AI could be live in it and it could generate like fight conditions, so that when you're entering the arena, like AI is making some decisions based on the two opponents and like throwing something into the mix for it.
Or like, even what if that was the animation?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. And then you just say, user A used swarm on B.
Plus, then with that integration, I don't know how that would work. I'd have to talk to probably Jahan and Willem, because I know Willem does machine learning stuff too, but it could theoretically be different every time. Like, would be way more, I hate to say it here, but realistic, that like every time you fire an ability, it's not going to be identical. And if it was AI renders of the same thing, but in different settings, you could get like variations in what the graphics are showing the player. So each player is getting like a unique experience.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Boosted by AI, that would be really cool.
AI animation.
Because yeah, the other thing that of course I'm sure you've thought of and people have probably wondered is if we wanted to like 3D render and rig a corrupted, good luck, right? They look like amorphous liquid metal amoebas. You know, like how are you supposed to 3D model that and then rig it without dropping an incredible amount of money?
Yeah, it's like Terminator 3 plus, you know, noble gas.
Yeah, it's they're visually stunning, but a nightmare if you wanted to rig it as a character that would do something.
We cannot come up with a low budget idea.
I know, we suck. That's what I'm saying.
It's
Just
fucking annoying.
Make it solitaire at first, because it's still a step up. It's still them getting to see their characters come onto the field and getting to see stuff happen. I would posit and I would welcome feedback from the holders. Even if that was the first step, if that was the prototype, the MVP, that all they were doing was looking at the like swath of their characters on their team and dragging and dropping just the static image of the corrupted out, it would still be a massive step up from what kind of UX we have right now.
Okay, I agree with that, but here's another angle to consider. If we bring this over to a new ecosystem, right? ICP, for instance, or somewhere else.
Yeah.
I wonder if the people who don't know anything about corrupted will feel as enticed to buy because they're not part of that story.
Sure. But maybe that's kind of the allure of like the AI component, you know, like an AI generated type of.
I mean, yeah, we could spin up an intro. We could easily do like a, you know, you're one of AI Legion and you're trying to claw your way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You gain favor of Xerxes or overthrow him. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the only thing we can do is try, really.
Yeah.
So is that the fucking hell, dude?
I know. I think that GDevelop is capable of doing like a static kind of image like that, because I'm pretty sure you can import stuff. Or honestly, even if you couldn't, you know, you could still do the character in the DreadByte mockup is not what the character is going to look like, but you could do something similar for this just to kind of get the feel for it and see if people like that feel of drag drop, click deploy, whatever. I've always envisioned, I've said it a million times, I've always envisioned like a Clash Royale type of thing where you could fight someone with an identical team who is also running the Swarm Warcry combo. But if they don't deploy as well or strategically as you, then they're going to lose, you know? Definitely the difference. You know, it's a tricky one because there's pre-made story, there's a lot of players, there's already characters, there's tons of mechanics, there's all kinds of stuff. And it's a lot more to consider when you're importing all that into a new platform than just making something from scratch, which is kind of why I'm thinking you make something from scratch to play with the different possible styles. Because we've also talked about a StarCraft style, you know, where you're like building a base and training your teams and your Legion, and you could have bigger teams. You could do army type battles if you had enough characters. I wanted to do like a generals league for people with 25 stack teams, all that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I love that.
The game that we were talking about yesterday too.
Mm-hmm.
Should I explain that and see what they think about it?
Dude, send it. Yeah. I think the two could work pretty well together. I think it could potentially be very cool to combine elements there.
Okay, everyone, if you're listening and future self, hello. Hopefully you're aging well. Here's the challenge. We need monthly recurring revenue. We need cash flow. Every business needs cash flow. We made money off of the NFTs that we minted, but foolishly, unbelievably foolishly, we kept those monies in eGold, and the market tanked. Each time it got to a new lower rung, we thought, okay, this has got to be the bottom. It's down 50, 75, 80%. So we just kept getting shafted, and now we're at a place where, you know, we're getting really tight. And so we don't want to just launch NFTs ad nauseum like Nogin does, because it's just kind of, it's extracting a lot of money out of you guys, and that's bullshit. So we want to come up with new innovative concepts, but we want to expand audiences, and we want to make something that's more reliable in income so that we can start paying salaries for people, etc. And we have a number of different things going. So the Founders Forge, that has a game component. That's more AI, blockchain future focused with a book, kind of scholarship fund. And then there's the game aspect of it. So that's going to be released on Friday. We're going to see how people like the game demo for that style, which is RPG. What do we call it? Like top down kind of battle monsters style. Mm-hmm. We have the Corrupted, which has a very dedicated group of people who are really excited about the game. So that shows that demand is there. The unknown is, what would that look like if we expand that to a new ecosystem where people don't know about Corrupted? And, what would that look like in the beginning as we build it up? In terms of like data and things that we've received, it seems like Corrupted is probably the strongest play, just because we have data to show that people really like it, right? So that's the second game. And then the third game is this game that I had come up with yesterday, and Alex and I were kind of spitballing and talking about a few different options, because here's the thing with the DreadByte game that we came up with for Founders Forge, right? There has been a ton of, top down, you follow a little 8-bit guy around and you battle monsters and stuff like that games before, and Pokemon does it the best. So we're not really giving the full juice of AI in that game. So I was wondering, can we make a game that's very AI focused, right? That's like teaching you how to think like a computer. And I was working with ChatGPT, and the idea was a endless horde style game. So anyone who's played, like zombies on Call of Duty is probably the most notable example, but basically like you get upgraded, each level, each wave comes and they just get bigger and better and more hardcore. So I had asked ChatGPT, what are the core tenets of AI? And it listed off a number of things, but the thing that would, to me, seem most gameable is the machine learning aspect. So, the machine learning is basically 5 components: data collection, data pre-processing, model training, evaluation, and tuning, and then prediction. And so the way we were kind of talking about it is this could be kind of a thing, because the fun of any of these games comes from like, how do I prioritize my limited resources to make myself better and attack and defend against these things coming in? Some moves or decisions take longer. Some of them are quicker. Some of them are one-offs, but then they leave you high and dry in the future. So for instance, data collection could be kind of like a slow burner thing that gradually rewards you points, or, maybe attack power or chances of, crit going up. Data pre-processing, the second one, this is kind of like a force multiplier. So the more you add into that, the more the first step like accelerates, kind of like gamma in option trading, if anyone's done that. Model training, we were kind of thinking is like a kind of like a practice where like maybe you have to do just model training for like 5 seconds, so you'll be vulnerable, but that'll allow you to kind of like upgrade your units, your AI bots or whatever.
Like charging a super ability, typically in a game that leaves you vulnerable for a second while you power.
Yeah. So that could be like an active component of it. Evaluation and tuning is kind of like, using the performance data or like evaluating its performance using new data that it hasn't seen before. So this is kind of me, huh? Okay.
1 second.
I'll keep going. This to me is kind of like feeding it more juice and turning up the firepower. You could only do this to something that has been trained. So only do it to things that you've spent time to like upgrade, And then the 5th one, prediction, this is like preemptive strike. So this is where you kind of plan your attacks for the next one. So there's a lot of things that we can come up with in terms of like training AIs, but made it in a fun, gameable way. And we haven't decided if some of these elements are something that we might want to do to Corrupted, or we just keep Corrupted completely as is we make it a strategy game. We add some, it is a strategy game, but we keep it a strategy game, and we add, some animations to make it a little bit more so that it's not just text, going back. Sorry, I'm checking out the chat now. Thank you, Tori. We shan't be throwing puppies over bridges anytime soon, I think, although Alex does have about 6 in his house. So, if that suddenly becomes 5, then, who's to say? Not I. But, yeah, I'm curious, if you are watching, what do you think about that kind of vibe? A kind of endless horde style game where you have to decide, do you want to train an AI army, and how do you want to do it? Do you want to do like the slow burn and then kind of prioritize which ones? It's kind of like Age of Empires, where you have, farming and mining and your army, and you have to build buildings, and you have to kind of decide where you want to prioritize everything and do it as quickly as possible so that your enemies don't overcome you. But in a mobile format where, it's obviously AI themed, and then the only other thing I'll say is that, I talked about the AI training, and that could be like your little bot, your little monster or whatever. I also think it would be really fun to have an active component where you have an ability to actively influence the battle as well. So you can then choose, do you want to be somebody who really specializes in growing your AI army, and you as a person does nothing, you have your bots do it all for you, or you as a person have the ability to affect change, do moves in game that's much more active, or you do a hybrid. So it's kind of like choose what kind of style do you want. It has to be an achievable outcome that players desire. Well, if we did the standard game, sorry, I'll show that. If we did the standard game, I do love tower defense game, by the way, but that would be a little bit different than this. Similar concept though. But if there is an achievable outcome that players desire, so if we did a game, the object would be to have fun. The object would be, you play this mobile game, it's addicting, it's never ending. Games like Fishdom and Candy Crush and all those things, people play that just for thousands and thousands of levels. And it's great because it's the same, the base algo down, then it's just repeating that over and over again, I don't know if we would want to implement that with crypto. I don't know if NFTs have anything to do with that. It does have to do with AI though.
Should be good. But I'll shoot you a text if we get a time and stuff though.
I'm gonna mute Alex so he doesn't say anything risky. Yeah, it does sound like Clash of Clans. You didn't mute, but I muted you. I'm heroic that way.
Oh, thanks. There was rescue stuff. As my oh, it's because, dude, every time I jump in here, man, good thing it wasn't a weird phone call.
I was like, I'm gonna mute this before he starts saying some detritus.
Every time, there we go. Every time I come in here, it defaults. I can't like pre-save my mic, so I always think like I'm on this mic, but it always just defaults to the MacBook mic. But
okay.
Anyway, I heard a little bit of some stuff, some tower defense, some Clash of Clans. I love that style of attack.
Yeah. So this wouldn't necessarily halt anything, but we were wondering, huh? Yeah, I know. I was just saying to them, like, if we were to make a game, obviously we would do it in the startup way where we just kind of make a MVP, show it to people, see what they think, and kind of go from there. But if it were a game, the object would be to have it be fun and then have it be AI focused, not necessarily to like, win money or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But separate from that, with Corrupted, as we evolve Corrupted, did we want to change anything about that? Because
I'd like to change some stuff. What are you, when you say that, what do you mean?
Well, with Corrupted, I mean, we introduced the XP system, which was obviously a big hit, and it's a really cool way to kind of, I guess we could keep that within the game itself, within the playable pieces.
Yes.
But if we scale though, would that mean that we apply that to all the NFTs then?
So one of the ideas that I had was
in order massive collection.
It would be. I kind of like the idea of making XP available to be earned by players in the scaled version, or in the way that holders of the original 4032 can earn it from holding, that they can keep earning. Which would
obviously, I wouldn't want to stop that.
No, but I'm saying not make the other ones just hold and earn, so that it would separate the originals out in such a way that if XP has utility inside of the thing to unlock stuff, upgrade this, get extra power-ups, do blah, 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 obviously people are going to want it. And the easiest way to generate XP is to get yourself some OG corrupted and hold on to them and earn XP that way. And if those 4032 remain the only ones that can just hold and earn, then they would also have appeal to people who don't want to play the game and simply want to have the XP. Because if we have, an XP into on-chain or to upgrade characters or do whatever, you can effectively get free SFTs from the game, spend your XP to upgrade them and put them into the in-game shop and trade upgraded characters. And you could trade whole teams. People could pre-build teams and sell them on the market as a package deal kind of thing and upgrade them with XP. XP could unlock all of the upgrade and evolution feature, and the only ways to get it are to play or to have an OG corrupted. And that's a scarce as hell. I don't think people really understand how scarce 4,000 is if you scale something to even 5% of what some of these minimally successful games have. If you have 20,000 people playing and there's only 4,000 of something, 20,000 users is not very many for an app.
Wait, are you saying keep the XP, because you're saying the XP could go to SFTs to the new NFTs?
I'm saying that XP is a completely chain agnostic system, right?
Yeah.
So if we launch SFTs on ICP, for example, we could still have a mechanism for people to spend XP to upgrade those, or to unlock new ones, or to buy booster packs, or to do whatever. And if the methods of earning XP remain holding OG corrupted or become playing the game, then you can either play the game a lot and earn all the XP that way, or you can just buy a couple OG corrupted and earn yourself XP passively. Then you don't even need to play to get it, and you can still be valuable in a powerhouse.
I like the idea of increasing the demand for the corrupted by having them be the only ones that are able to get XP. But I worry that doing that on a new ecosystem might not be received well. Because that would be like, hey, we're coming over, but you have to buy these in order to, it could work, but it kind of seems like we're playing tit for tat rather than open to everyone who's new. Plus, we would want to get new users. Everyone who plays the game wants to get more people to play against.
Of course.
In
the short term, though, I feel like it's a viable trade-off. I would agree it's kind of a tit for tat kind of thing. Like, hey, if you want users and you want this thing built on your platform and to scale over here, the non-negotiable is our OGs, and this is how they're set up. So can you accommodate us? Yes or no? Because I would totally be down for, there's got to be, plus we're so infantile in the evolution of all of this tech that I can't imagine there's not going to be a way in the future, probably not that far off, for someone who really wants to bridge an OG corrupted to a different blockchain and have it over there instead. It's still going to be the original thing. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass right now because I'm not a developer.
Ooh, look at Neil with the salaciousness.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I would look at the new ones as a new collection in the same ecosystem. Corrupted becomes its own ecosystem, and the beauty of the whole thing is that it's chain agnostic. That plays right into the story too. Why would Xerxes stop at one chain when he could infect multiple chains and spawn more of Legion elsewhere?
If we do that, though, that could make the the value of the corrupted plummet.
You totally could if all you did was inflate the existing thing without keeping some sort of standalone feature present.
Well, I'm just saying, if we focus on, if we go to ICP, for instance, and we develop over there, we get a grant because they actually give a shit about people building on their blockchain. We get a grant. It might be uphill too, by the way, because it's a game, according to Daniel. But anyways, I
would agree, but that's looking at the games that are coming out right now. Like if you do something that's actually unique and interesting, I think there's still room to grow.
Plus, we've got users, so we get a grant.
2 for 2.
Yeah, and it, and we start, if we do a new collection over there, it would make the artwork easier, because we would just generate 10,000 new, not necessarily easier, but regardless, we'd have this, over here on ICP. What about the OGs on Elrond? They would, if we spend our focus developing the game now, they would feel like they're left in the dust.
Here's my theory on this, and I maintain that this is the way that any NFT holder should look at there's dogs everywhere, viability of their collection in terms of like value potential to actually increase. Think about the way that floor price behaving collections are working right now. You're leaning really heavily into a native staking protocol that just rewards you in something forever. We don't know what they do, but that's the plan. There's lots of giveaways. There's floor sweeping contests. There's all these classic NFT tropes. I'm way more interested in providing value, and I would make the argument that the value potential is exponentially higher if you take that original group of 4,032 or the 8064 on the TFM side and just let them do their little thing. And we have these 2 off-chain reward systems for each one. You can integrate that reward system into anything you ever do in the future. And all of a sudden, every time your business expands, every time your business takes on a new thing, opens a new arm, starts consulting, starts doing, game development, starts doing teaching and education, starts doing whatever the hell. If there's a way that the rev point or the XP can come into play there, which is very easy to do, then all of a sudden, even if the player or the holder who has the original token isn't interested in that thing, you're adding more and more and more people who could realize the value of this still very scarce asset, the TFM or the corrupted. So I wouldn't want, as a holder, to look at a team who is exclusively focusing on how can I do as many contests and giveaways and drawings for my holders just here forever, as I would want to see my founders out there trying to create a cash flow positive business that is touching all kinds of different people and getting more and more customers, clients, whatever, even if it's not something I'm personally interested in, because more eyes equals more demand equals more value, and my asset will never inflate in quantity.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I would just like to bring attention to the fact that we still got to make some reason for the OGs to exist,
and that's why I think XP generation.
Yeah, that could work.
If it's popular enough, I would say that literally becomes the only thing you ever need to do. If they are the sole way that you can just buy a thing and earn it and earn XP, then I would never sell mine. Or you'd have to pay me handsomely to get one off my hands.
Chris was saying to integrate the OG TFMs, which was the original battle setup too, light versus dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we haven't done as much with that battle yet. It's been a lot of
in the Twitter thread that we have going right now, where people offer ideas for rev points in the future. Vanessa mentioned like comics, graphic novels and stuff, just because we have so many stories and so much more. And I was writing down like the brief outline. So you have like the ribboning and the spawn, the creation of the duplicates through the first attempted spawn that failed, the real spawn, legion forming, the syndicate forming. We have the council on the TFM side. I think that syndicate and the council should go to war at some point as the champions of each of their own parishes. And then
Owls versus the Giant Eagles, dude.
Yep. Bring in the Many and bring in Legion. And all
who's gonna win, chat? The Nazguls or the fucking Giant Eagles?
If you evolve it into like the StarCraft type of game, or the tower defense, or the Clash of Clans, or the even just tabletop, whatever, you're like choosing a side, light side of the force, dark side of the force kind of thing, except you have the corruption and the light. And you're like picking. I mean, Skyrim, dude. How many of us jump in and go one way versus how many of us jump in and immediately try to murk as many people as possible so that you can get recruited by the Dark Brotherhood as fast as you can?
Yeah. I mean, there's no shortage to good ideas and stuff that we can do. It's just a matter of every project founder needs to decide, okay, how long can I keep doing this?
Yep.
How basically that's really what it is. How long can
I
to keep doing this?
That's a really good point. I would say, I mean, in my opinion, again, as a holder, if I just kept having to do things over and over again to like extract any of the value out of my thing, I'm going to get tired eventually. I would love to be able to like have options to like jump in and participate in stuff or attend events or get into my cool kids club with my token. But ultimately, man, dude, I'd like to relax at some point and not have to be like an active holder that feels like they need to be online at least an hour every single day to make sure they don't miss the value, Yeah. Something that can get lost in the active. We go two directions. You've got projects and teams that have not said anything in their Discord for 6 months, and then you have us that can be a little over inundating with like, I don't have time for this. How can I even keep up? So iterating out into a game that's like, you want to pay attention to the game, pay attention to the game. If you don't, just know that we're working on it and your shit's going to keep getting more and more eyes on it. Bill, an hour. You're special, Bill. I want all of you in there all the time.
Yeah, we're having office hours or like a fucking digital punch card. You didn't log your 3 hours a day at Corrupted HQ, so you're fired. To be real with you guys, it's challenging. It really is, because we have a lot of creativity. None of us are devs except for Willem, which
he's also the CEO of an entire multi-100-person company.
Right.
He's busy.
He creates the Corrupted for fun.
Yeah, that's his after dinner hobby.
Yeah. It's been a long day. I was out fighting forest fires halfway across the globe. I'm gonna go write some code for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
But he gets off on the feeling of completing something, yeah. And it's fun. I think that's the nerd inside of all of us. That's where we're all here. You know what I mean? Because we're just we enjoy the nerdy stuff, the games. Like why should we ever have to stop playing games? The thing is, though, that we just I mean, it's just really hard to see where the markets are going to go and what's the next step. So we're kind of in that phase where we're like trying shit out right now. But this feels good. I know we have people who will like it. It's just I don't know. Go ahead.
The thing I just think about, dude, is this season we're struggling just because a lot of stuff got messed up. But last season we had over 200 daily active users in a completely text-based game that lives inside Discord on Elrond.
Yeah.
Which is nutty. That is almost 40%. No, that's 33% of the entire holder base of the collection actively every day doing stuff with it with a terrible UX. I just keep trying to imagine like that has got to say something about the fact that the game makes you think, the fact that it's like, who was it? Victoria, did you say it earlier? You like a game that you can like, you can open up and do for a few minutes while you're standing in line at something. Like, yeah, how long does it take for you to pop it open and run one battle, right? Like it checks all of the boxes for me. I can jump in and do a quick fight. I don't have to feel like if I don't have 2 hours, I can't play. And it makes you think. You have to put energy and effort into putting your team together properly, or you'll just get murked. I don't know. I just think it's fucking amazing. It's so cool.
I saw something the other day that was talking about Walt Disney. And after they had come out with animation, all of his advisors and everyone around him was telling him to double down on that and, become a full production studio and everything like that. But instead, he was obsessed with toy trains, and he would ride these little toy trains around. And ultimately, what that led to was Disneyland, which is far and away the most iconic, part of anything of their business. And the lesson in it was that he was following his bliss. And oh my God. You looking at him on a little toy train?
No, I just, the way that you led to Disneyland, and I was like, I wonder, $55 million a day.
Yeah.
Does Disney World make?
You can't get that with Moana.
A day?
One of them or all of them?
That's just Disney World. Oh, okay. Wait, I'm sorry. It's $20 billion a year, and that is parks and resorts.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
But Jesus Christ. That's incredible.
Yeah. Wow. So anyways, I think if we just keep doing that, it's very evident that we are into the gaming side of everything that we've built, and it's certainly the most fun.
Yeah, dude, it's like Willem, when I'm trying to like relax during the day, I just like work on the game wiki or, combinations and stuff. That was one of the big features I really wanted to roll out was combos, but Willem was like, look, we can do it, but it's going to make mobile migration 1,000 times harder and longer. So maybe we just do it after. I think it's definitely worth prioritizing that and not putting more stuff in the game right now.
Prioritizing what?
Getting out of Discord.
Yeah.
That's got to be the first. There's a lot of stuff in there, I want people to be able to enjoy the stuff that's in there right now before we add more stuff.
No one said that they were against switching though at all.
I haven't heard a single person. Yeah.
What we would need is somebody who can reformat this into a mobile game. You're saying Willem can do it?
Willem said he can do it. He also nominated Tristan in here. Said
Tristan's been voluntold.
Tristan has been.
Tristan, I forgot you work with Willem.
Suggested me as someone who is good at what he does and may be able to help.
Tristan, I see you, bub.
Oh, Mac, by the way, just because we have Tristan here with us, I would like to publicly celebrate Tristan's metal corrupted print was finally given to him today.
Where is he in South Africa too? Dude, Tristan, you got fucking hosed, my guy. I sent oh, that's why, yeah, maybe because it's metal. I sent a print of Willem's fire architect or vault and it was no problem. But apparently if it's metal,
yeah.
Then yeah, sorry about that, but I'm glad you got it.
Dude, he just was it Tristan? Like every few weeks he would send me a new screenshot that was like an update from customs. It was just like an inch closer to getting it. I mean, how long did I send those things out? Like 2 months ago? At least?
Oh no. Yeah, it should have been the January.
Oh my God, it's May. Yeah, okay. So months and months ago.
Yeah.
So now the only ones that got screwed are the people in the Czech Republic because Czech Customs was just like hard no and sent it back. And John Doe's like, sorry.
I was like, all right, cool.
All right, you know what I think we need to do? You remember how I was talking about like we need to consider kind of changing the way we're doing things and do like a week per product, basically.
Totally.
I think we need to do that. I think what we've been doing and what we've had history doing is things like the TFM launch. We make it this big grandiose thing with a lot of marketing and preamble to it. And I don't think we can afford to do that anymore, because what could happen is we spend all this time. That's what we're seeing on Founders Forge. We're not getting the followers that we need. Granted, we're not as active over there, so we do need to bump those numbers up. But I'm just not seeing as much interest in that. And I think we need to just be like, all right, look, we got the book. We're going to fucking sell the book in a week. You know what I mean? Or tell people about it and see if anyone gives a shit. And if we get that whispering, you know, because you can kind of feel it. You can kind of sense it.
100%.
Like TFM, you could sense right away. People are like, oh shit, what's this? You know, the Discord took, I don't know, a week or two to get to 1,000.
Oh my God. It wasn't even, it was way shorter than that. The Prometheans were in so fast.
Right. Granted, that was also in a time where that was a hot commodity.
Different times for sure.
And it was unique. So I think we just need to just go guerrilla with the shit and just be as fast as possible. I mean, we have the MVP for this game coming out. I'll make a tic tac about that today.
Yeah.
We did get a lot of signups on Founders Forge, by the way. I don't know if you were getting those emails.
Yep. Seen them rolling.
But yeah, I think we just need to do that for everything. We do that for this game. We do that for the Corrupted, and just be like, look, we're talking ICP. I can open that application up again and then talk to Daniel and then see what we would need.
Yeah. I think based on the stuff that I've heard from people like Daniel and a couple others in the community that we've talked to, we have more than enough to justify getting one of their starter grants at least.
Yeah.
Which would fuel us to run those sprints, take a little bit of the weight off of our shoulders that, you know, we're feeling with the various money stresses.
Yeah.
And just fucking lean in, because I don't want to do anything else. You know, in order to like get all of this done, you gotta lean in. I mean, Mac, I don't know how many hours is typical in a day for you to put in, but like, I can't imagine that we're putting in less than 80 to 100 hour work weeks. I wake up at 5:45 and I'm on and checking and getting stuff like knock off my to-do list.
Yeah.
And I'm usually doing that until I go to bed. So yeah, what's that, like 15-hour days? It's not constant, but you know, if you're sitting there like mentally thinking about it for that long, you know, like my old job, right? Like I don't even think about it when I leave. I'm at the air station all day. I go home. I don't think about that place until I go back the next day.
Yeah.
This is totally different animal. It is using brain bandwidth 24/7.
Yeah. I've been using the hours tracker app, but I only track the hours when I'm actively working on it. So I don't just like clock in at 8 and then clock out at, you know, the end of the day. Every time I like eat or do a little bit of break, I'll clock out.
Brain time, especially for someone like in your position, that's literally part of your job description. That is work.
Yeah. I'm at 19 and a half hours for this week so far. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say before we hopped on that I felt like your morale was low. Corrupted got you perked up, but you know.
It is. I mean, I'm fighting with the VA right now. Anyone who's ever been through that knows what I'm talking about. It's bullshit. Foster care stuff is a lot. The school year is ending. Jordan's been having a rough time lately.
I just want to say that there's no glory in overworking and damaging yourself, whether that be mentally, emotionally, or physically.
For sure.
Like I'm listening to this book called Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday, and it's talking a lot about stoicism, and a big value of that is temperance, which is something that I realized I need to improve, because I used to live my life by a series of laws and I realized I was getting away from that, so I rewrote my rules. But one of the things is, like, if you're gonna be disciplined about working, you have to also be disciplined about resting.
Yeah. I'm annoyingly good at telling other people to do that, and then notoriously terrible at doing it myself.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, you know how like our day is structured, right? There's 4,000 little teeny things. It's like, okay, send the eagle out for this, send the NFTs out for this, list this, post this, do that, do this.
We need a virtual system.
And it's just like, so what typically happens, because you can ask Christina, I'm a forgetful person. I'll just be like, okay, I'm good. I walk away. Doing something like, fuck, I forgot to tweet this one thing. So I like walk back in here for 5 minutes to send this tweet, and then I leave. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't send this eagle out. So I walk in here and send that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I've done that. I've been doing that for 2 hours, and it's just like sporadic little shits, you know?
I know exactly how you feel. There's a lot of components. There's a lot of balls in the air to keep up.
Yep.
Spinning plates.
But I mean, eventually you hit that fit, and then there are departments in companies that, you know, get delegated stuff like that help with the load. But for now, we have the full brunt.
Have you read the book Deep Work?
I've heard of it. I have not read it.
Please read that.
Deep Work.
I cannot recommend that harder. If anyone else has read it, weigh in. But it's by Cal Newport. He's got another one good too. So good they can't ignore you. But I've listened to Deep Work twice, and I probably am due for it again. But the entire concept is basically about how to get the most out of the time that we have each day. And that's through deep work. You know, when you're in that.
So Gandalf of you, that quote right there.
Whoa. So I missed it. What happened?
You said like getting the most out of the time that you have each day. And that's
yeah.
When Gandalf and Frodo, all we can do is what to do with the time that is given to us.
Sooner or later, Harry, you must make the decision between what is right and what is easy. Don't forget. But anyways, the point is that, like, he's this super illustrious, professor who's written many books, many publications. He's gotten a lot done, and obviously he has people that corroborate his story as well. But he cuts off every night, shuts off at 5 p.m. and then he just hangs out with the family. You know, but the reason why is because he dedicates blocks for it. You know, it's like, if you have something that you're building in real life, what do you have to do? You have to build a space for it if you want an office, right? So that shouldn't be any different than anything that we're building in our minds, mentally or idea-wise. You know, you have to create the space for it. Yeah. And if you're constantly doing, if you're checking email, if you're checking Discord 2 hours before bed, what it does, and he explains this, is that it ruins your ability to concentrate and to focus, because you're always on. You don't have that like dedicated on and off. Like, imagine if an Olympic athlete were training round the clock. They would be fucking terrible. They wouldn't be in the Olympics. You know, they have to have very focused sessions of concentration where they're getting better, and then they have very dedicated rest sessions.
Yeah, I don't know. You're a lot better at that than me. And I think one thing that I'm personally like hitting in my head right now that prevents me from doing a better job at that myself is, you know, we've been on Brainwise for so long working on the cash flow plan.
Yeah.
And we really need that to happen. And so I have this feeling, if I'm not actively working on stuff, that I'm not making that happen. So it's like hard for me to sign out if I feel like I haven't solved the problem. You know, like the reason that none of us slept for 10 days after the TFM mint went off is because there were problems and we couldn't look away until they were fixed. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now, subconsciously, that it's hard to like tear yourself away when you feel like I still have so much that I should be doing, or that I could be doing, that maybe this would be the thing that, which is stupid, you know, because then ultimately what do? You just burn yourself out and you make it less likely that you're going to like nail it, you know?
Yeah. I'm trying to think how to explain it, because I remember.
No, you're doing a fine job. I'm just
in terms of the point that you just made,
yeah.
I think that I am better at turning it off. I I don't know. I mean, you and I share a lot of nihilistic ideas. You know what I mean? Can't you just be like, fuck it, we're all gonna die anyways? Shit, you know, like who gives a shit? Because I have a kid coming into the world, you know, so I have to think about that too. Huh?
I said so soon. I was just thinking about that the other day. Christina was asking me when Amber was due, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, oh, they got a while. I was like, no, it's May. They don't have a while.
Yeah, September. I got to tell you guys about the baby shower too. It'd be great if you guys can come. But
I would love to be there.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think about the same thing too. I look at myself sometimes like I'm a fucking lazy piece of shit, but then other times I just I don't know. I've been through a lot of stress in my life where I didn't know what the next step was going to be. You know, like I was $25,000 in debt, and Amber was lending me money so that I could continue going to music production school. And then I found that Steinway gig, and that got me so much fucking money. And I never could have anticipated that there was a job that allowed me to play piano and speak Chinese, which are like the two most random fucking skills in the whole world. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, but I love it.
I've moved a lot. I've lived in China. And each time I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't really know what the next step is going to be, but I know something's going to work out. I have a lot of faith in us. I think it's just a matter of like nailing down what doesn't work. Kind of like we did in college. You know, in college, you take a bunch of courses and you're like, nah, that's not for me. But I think it's just a matter of getting there. I need to hustle more in terms of like saying, okay, I have an hour. I'm just going to fucking get through this. You know, like I'm going to do this QuickBooks, even though I hate it with my entirety of being. I'm going to do this trust stuff. I'm going to fucking apply to this and just knock it out. And then, you know, if people like it, sweet. If not, because a lot of that friction comes from deep inside knowing that what you're doing isn't aligned with the universe or the people you're trying to sell to or whatever. You know, like when we were going hard with the consulting thing and we were trying to get people to sign up for that, there was a lot of friction there with the ebooks too. We spent a lot of time doing shit, and you look back and like, what the fuck did we do? But we were busy during that whole time.
Yep.
But it's just people didn't give a shit.
Yep. Yeah, but to your point earlier, it was longer than a week, but that was a sprint because we sent out however many reach outs we ended up sending out. We did the whole whatchamacallit setup with the team account on what's that service called that we were using for all of the email cataloging and
HubSpot.
Thank you. You know, writing pitches and sending out all the LinkedIn requests and all that kind of stuff. Like that was a sprint in and of itself, you know, which was, I don't know if people really know this, but we have a service that we are members of that basically lets us get like one-on-one coaching and mentorship from people in and around the industry who are established. I mean, we've had some of the more notable ones, like people who are all CEOs or co-founders of their own things, technical founders. One guy who is now the CTO for Reddit was one of our very first calls.
The director of engineering.
Yeah, like big shit, people who have done it. And we've gotten a lot of very good advice, which has definitely shaped the way that we, you know, do stuff. It was one of those calls that led us to just like buckling down, not doing anything else except for reaching out to 200 plus or whatever we did companies.
Yeah.
Give them the pitch on why digital collectibles would be good for them or cool for them or whatever.
I just think it's all going to be part of the story. You know, I think we're going to look back and be like, dude, 2022 and 2023 sucked prison dick, but we fucking made it out. And I'm starting to see the way that's going to take shape because I think that we have an edge with AI and I think we have an edge with gaming.
When it makes sense, yeah, it clicks for you. I mean,
yeah, and you'll know that feeling.
I like to think too, you know, just because I worry about this sometimes, and I think it's good to like ground yourself in reality for a minute and like make sure that you're not like lying to yourself, to not be delusional. And the thing that I always come back to whenever I like sit and pause and like, what am I doing ultimately is I just think about the conferences that we went to in 22 and how many people we talked to. Do you remember ever having a single conversation out of the dozens and dozens and dozens we had with other founders, like people of matter and import in the industry, where they were like, this is stupid. I don't get it. What are you doing? I can't think of a single one. Like everyone there got it. The doers on the ground at those conferences and stuff. Every conversation was a good one. Every single one was like, we should be in touch. We should figure out that there's ways that we can work together, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah. Or it was, oh, we're an NFT. I'm like, what's special about you guys? Oh, the community, bro, the community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those conversations too.
But they were all on ETH.
Yeah.
We would describe, what we had done and what we were doing. Oh, cool. Where do I see it? Is it on OpenSea? No.
Yeah. It's on a blockchain you've never even fathomed.
Yep.
But I wonder how their communities are now.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is ours.
I couldn't even, if my life depended on it, I couldn't even name all the ones we talked to.
When Julius Caesar was making his way into Gaul and all around the Northern Roman Empire, he had this army of veterans that was just so fucking battle hardened that they would go into battles that was like 5-1 and they would just dominate because they had seen so much bloodshed and warfare and tact through Julius Caesar that nothing could phase them anymore. And then when they came back to Rome, they're like, yeah, bow down, bitches. And that's what we got. We got a bunch of just fucking battle hardened Roman warriors in our community.
Yep.
And
well, it's the reason for the gathering in the first place. The reason for the formation of the many originally was to learn with nothing else on the line. You build based off something that matters regardless of market state, then all of a sudden, everyone doesn't abandon you the second the market takes a dive, like we're seeing happen in so many other places.
Yeah.
At any rate, I think I'm going to get to Gettin here pretty soon. I did want to take a peek at some stuff because Evan actually sent me the template for a prompt in ChatGPT that you can get for chat to build a game that is actually playable and works. That I don't really think needs much in the way of deployment. So I wanted to kind of dig into that and look and see. And then I saw Michael followed up with the GDevelop guy or with Scenario. So I got to touch base with him because I think he was going to try to get the API connected to our Discord so that we could do scenario stuff in there. Because that was a RevPoint utility for the record of allowing RevPoints holders to subscribe to Scenario for a discount on their premium services. So I kind of want to get the free version in there so people can mess with it and see it. It's kind of like a Midjourney thing, except it's designed to replicate. So you can create series of things instead of just an image. And its primary use case is developing in-game assets and stuff. And they're working on rendering 3D pre-rigged stuff, which would be nuts. So I'll follow up on that stuff today. Kind of want to see where we're at with that and just keep bothering. And then, I guess we just need to figure out, I'm waiting for some options on times for the first meeting with the Rose Holman team.
Okay.
And then we can pick a time that'll work and then get to get on that. I'm extremely excited about that. I do want to, it's been a little bit just because we've been doing other stuff waiting for the applications to come in, but we should have a grounding session and revisit the show 'em stuff maybe on the next stand-up and just collect our thoughts on it. I know I have a bunch of show 'em notes and stuff, but just to make sure we have a starting point, what are they coming up with first? Because I know we were kind of getting somewhere on UI stuff for that one, and it'd be good to kind of work on itemizing that whole list. And I think that's something that my dad can probably help with, order of operations to get it built.
We have the Canva still, which I think is.
Yeah,
I think I don't know. I can see the shape of show 'em pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get them all in there for that first meeting and run them through it, and then start getting them to throw ideas and stuff out there.
Yeah,
and, get them acclimated to the way we do things.
They seem Chinese.
Yeah,
their names are all Chinese, so I wonder if they're born there or born here. We might be able to yuck it up over some dumplings. We'll see.
Dude, I'll come down for some food. Well, they're all up in Indiana. I would go to Indiana and get some.
Is that where it is? Is that where they are?
Terre Haute.
Maybe we'll go up there. We'll bring the Baijiu and just get fucking cranked.
Hell yeah.
All right. So do we need anything? I'm going to talk. I just texted Daniel. I want to talk to him and just see what he thinks about all this.
Okay.
Because if he says go for it, then maybe we just prioritize that. And then we also need to come up with a cover for Rise Up, the book.
I really like that style that
you do.
Coming
up with?
Mm-hmm.
That Neil was coming up with?
Mm-hmm. The second or that last batch there with like the gold like sketchbook on black paper.
Yeah, in front of a city.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with that. It's so cool. I could totally
look like that.
I could totally see that being a thing.
I could too.
I think that's so freaking cool.
Neil's a fucking G at this shit, dude.
I know.
God damn.
He's
prompts. Did he send the prompts?
I don't know. Neil, if you're in here, did you I assume Evan probably has some stuff. I don't know, he's very good at nailing a style and then like replicating it across like, you know, in a way that is definitely cohesive. Like given how these look, you could totally generate the illustrations for the book in this feel and have it look very cohesive. And I think that would be a great challenge for most people.
Let me she wants to see. Oh no, Tristan wants to see. All right, Tristan, you want to see? Whoever was doing all this dragon shit, bravo. Because
those were mine. That was a long chase to get there, and I'm getting somewhere. I really like them. I love that too. Just that as an image is so cool.
I love it too. This is very hyper realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then this is kind of like a video game style. This is like what Zelda wants to be.
It's a massive Zelda vibes from that, and that's IRL Zelda vibes. Kid contemplates nosedive off skyscraper.
Kid contemplates killing himself after macaroni art didn't go as planned. I don't really love this. It's cool, but not the vibe.
Not the vibe.
This looks a little bit propaganda-y.
Mm-hmm.
Propaganda.
Not the vibe.
Not the vibe.
Getting a lot closer.
Fup sup strill.
Dude.
Fup strill. Fup sup drill.
One of my favorite things is saying things that
I know.
That AI generates.
Roast. I like this one. That's a cute little kid.
I do love that. That is a very cool. I get Shel Silverstein vibes from that.
Tristan, you haven't seen the best yet. Oh, I love these.
That's dope. Oh, that's dope. That's cool.
I really like these.
Number two is so sick. That's making me think of like Pinocchio, Guillermo del Toro. Have you seen that, by the way?
I love it. With Tom Hanks?
No, the new one. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
No.
Do yourself a favor, dude.
Who plays in it?
Oh, he's got a banger cast.
Is it not Tom Hanks?
No, I don't know if he's a voice. It's all clay. It's claymation.
Oh, got it. I have not seen it then.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so sad and so good.
Babe with Thor weight shovel. This kind of image right here is about as empowering as you can get. You just write some little empowering message to the left of her, and you could put that on a t-shirt and anything. I love the top right one though for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, Neil. This top right one, yeah, I like all these. The bottom right one's a little sus. It's like Gulliver's Travels as a kid.
Yeah.
I like all of these actually. He does dash style raw. That's all.
I guess. I've noticed that like the people who crack, like Linus on Twitter and stuff, like my prompts get so big, but theirs are so simple. They just like perfectly write that one sentence that they know is going to give them what they want, but it's ultimately like not that lengthy.
Dang. Okay.
Which is very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like when you're a new artist, you paint a bunch of shit, and then as you get better, it just becomes more and more minimal because you're extremely efficient with your.
Yeah.
Don't like these. These are kind of fun, but I still think this kind of like sepia hint or background is really cool.
Keep going. Do the show the black and
Just to show these cool dragons. Man, that dragon is fucking hard. Dude, these movies where like man is fighting against dragon and they're fucking so stupid. Like a dragon would completely dominate your entire race.
Yeah.
You have really strong siege equipment and like, but like, look at this. You're not going to fucking fight that thing with a sword, you idiot.
The only story I've ever heard of like dragon lore that I thought was like almost made sense in the fantasy world was it Sigurd? He digs a trench and like lays underneath it and tricks the dragon into running over him, and then he just like drives the sword straight up from underneath because he knew there was no way to get to him. I love this style, dude. It's so cool.
Okay, I'm trying to think how I feel about these.
Like, look at that. Look how cool is that?
This bottom left is very Tim Burton.
Yep.
The bottom right is kind of cool too. I don't know if I love these. It's a little bit like, not Rorschach, but like fucking.
Well, so that top number one, that one is like something straight out of a horror movie. Like that's the drawing that's like on the kid's wall when The Exorcist.
Yeah, before he fucking starts seeing poltergeist and shit. Yeah.
But the bottom one is so Tim Burton. I really like the last. So the last 3 blocks of 4.
So wait, what about these though? Are you vibing on that?
I do like them. I don't know if it's quite the vibe for me as much as the last 3.
Oh, this is cute. I like that one.
I do like that a lot. Takes a lot to make a pencil sketch look like it's glowing, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really good.
These, I'm vibing real hard with these.
I don't love, I've said this before, I think that we need to see the face on the cover.
I'm mixed on it. I think there's something inherently like powerful about looking at them from the back as they like survey either the future or where they're going, the destination. I don't know. I can totally see both sides of it. I'm very torn. I don't know that I would necessarily die on the hill on either one. I think I could be amenable to both.
This is a good style difference. These 1, 2, 3, 4s.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Starry Night in the bottom right one.
Yep. Yeah. I get Van Gogh vibes for sure.
Yeah. The left one is kind of a like a painting almost. Top left is just like a singular pencil drawing, and then the top right is kind of that one looks like a digital one to me.
I gotta say, if I had to pick a single favorite, it would be the next panel, image number 2. That one.
On top of the buildings, eh?
Yep, that one was just like an instant. This looks like a cover to me. Like that looks like it tells the story that I want. Because I love number 3 as well, but it looks kind of spooky. I love all of these. 3 looks kind of
spooky. A little spooky.
4 I do really like, but I just think the magic that's obviously present in number 2 is like unparalleled in all the other ones.
Damn, this is tough.
Yeah.
I do think Evan's right. We probably should. Wait, they're saying top left. For which one? This one? Three could be the back cover. I think. Fuck. Sorry. Where was I? Is it this one, guys? If you're watching, Tristan and Christopher. No, not this one. Okay.
One before.
This one?
Yeah, these are. Okay. Yeah, so you went back. Okay. I think this one. Glowing.
Is it this one?
Back one more.
One more.
Is it the one, Chris? Is it the one that I said the glowing comment about? Is that what you meant by that? Because that was a couple panels back. Oh yeah, we do have a little delay.
Damn. Okay.
That one, Mac. Second row from the bottom in the middle.
This one?
No, up. That panel of 4. That one, yeah. That's the one that I made the glowing comment about.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, what do you guys think about this one? I think it's these 4. Yeah? No.
Chris, I swear to God. Chris, you got to give me a description. I can't do the one words.
I love this bottom left one. No one's. I love it.
I do like it a lot.
Here, you know what I'll do? I'll say, okay, we're not going to do the dragons. So it's this 9.
You had it wide open city gold.
Here,
okay.
It's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, 8, 9. Which quadrant?
Each of those is a panel of 4.
Yeah. This is funny.
You know what word pops into my head for what we're doing right now, Mac?
What?
This feels a little bit like a rigmarole.
Oh, yeah. This is a lot of rigmarole. Too little. Well,
it's okay.
I think
now Tristan's DMing me. Okay. Oh, I got it. All right, Mac. It is number 4, panel 4.
Okay. Oh, the colorful one?
No. Of the 6, that on the very bottom, all the way to the left. That quadrant of 4.
This one?
Yes. That one.
And of these, which?
So they said top left, implying 1. I do like all of them. 4 really does it for me. 4 and 1 for sure. Bingo. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank God. Yeah, I think I like 4 a little bit better. Chris is saying top left.
The reason that I like those just is because this as a gesture is, doing it for me a lot more. It's more inviting, hopeful, like I'm, reaching up, rising up.
Triumphant.
I love the organization of 1. If 1 had the arms up, I think it'd be a shoe-in for me. But
you think?
Yeah, which I, may or may not be an easy type thing. I'd have to ask Neil how he can do, but like I said, but my hard favorite is second panel from the end, image number 2. Kid standing on the buildings with the wand and the stars and the glow. I love that one.
Oh yeah. And then we would put the title underneath the where the buildings are.
Yeah, either way, I could see title up or down.
Why? Because he's like conducting.
Yeah, he's he looks like the master of his own destiny. He's reigning in the future, kind of thing. Which is definitely the vibe that I got of the whole thing. Rise up looks different to everybody, so you can read this and interpret it with whatever destination speaks to you, and that's the story that it's telling, which is why it's so powerful.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll check that. Let's nail that down. Yeah, these are really cool. I do think we should do some kind of Twitter poll too.
I'm super down. Yeah.
And let's just bust this shit out. You know what I mean?
We need to. Kaio did a sprint to build the MVP. I think it's time for us to do our sprint.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to make a schedule because that might change, but maybe a loose one over the next like 3 weeks. We just get this done, the corrupted plan, and then the
I would love to design out what the initial prototype for the corrupted could look like. And I mean, we have so many ideas there. I don't think that would be too hard to mock up a rough kind of plan. And then same with this.
Well, I'm going to talk to Daniel and we'll see what he says.
Cool.
All right, dude. Well, for those of you who are watching, thanks for hopping in, for lending your commentary and your opinions and your jokes. Alex, I will let you know what updates I have, and we'll fucking go from there.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
Well met.
Well met.
I can close this out here. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the old chat.
Thanks. Peace.